Welcome to Better Together, Lumberton ISD's quick 10 to 15 minute video podcast just for parents. Each episode dives into relevant topics with expert guests and gives you simple, practical ways to help your students succeed. These short, engaging, and ready-to-use tips are essential because supporting your rater is always better together. Welcome back to Better Together. We're excited to be back here for a brand new school year and lots of great things going on in our district, but we are still here to give you some practical tips that you can apply every day with your kids to help us all, make our raters the best they can be. And speaking of the best they can be, we have one of the best here today with us. This is Dr. Erica Duckworth, and I was telling you earlier when we were just joking around, I really want to say your name in a British accent because it's fun to say in a British accent.
I agree.
Dr. Duckworth, but she said that is fun, but you can just call me Erica. Is that okay? Call you Erica? Okay. Perfect. So Erica today is here with us, and Erica is such a valuable resource that we have in our community. I want to give you some information about Erica so you kind of know her background. But she is a licensed professional counselor supervisor.
Yes, ma'am.
And she has had her own private practice with counseling for about 15 years, is that right?
Yes.
And she counsels adults, children, families as a whole, and she also is very proud to be a mom as well. And she has 3 adult children, and they all went through Lumberton ISD.
They did.
So another bonus there. We love our alumni, and she has some fabulous children. So we're excited that she's here today. But with the start of a new school year, we want to talk a little bit about building resiliency. And we know that when a new school year starts, there's emotions all over the place. Right. We have people who are excited because it's a fresh start. We have people who are anxious because they don't know what to expect. It's like, a high school kid walking into the lunchroom on the first day and trying to figure out what their friends are. That's kind of the feeling for the first weeks of school. And so we have some things here today that I think you're going to give us and maybe share some good information for parents to kind of help their kids navigate through this season.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, let's get started here. So we hear about this word resiliency. That might be something that we've heard a lot about, but how would you define what resiliency is?
So resiliency is the ability to overcome obstacles while you regulate your emotions and choose to move forward. And the good news is that we are born with specific talents and the ability to adapt, but that as parents and loved ones, we can also help our children with that.
Okay. All right. So what are some things about the new school year? We've talked a little bit about how, those emotions can be all over the place, excitement, anxiety, new structures in place. What are some things that as parents in the district, some things that we need to know about this time of year and some specific things that we might see from our kids?
Yeah, so it is, and you talked about the children's emotions, but I mean our emotions too as parents.
That's true.
Parents are very happy that their children are going back to school. Some of us are nervous, some of us
both.
are across the board,
Yep.
and our children feed off of our emotions. So that's, we really have the chance to set the tone for what that's going to be like, and that's really important. If I saw you and you were very scared, I would be looking around because I would need to be scared as well.
Right.
So that's important first off. Next, it's important for us to be consistent. Our children need to know that we are in their corner. We might not always have the answers, and that is okay, but they need to know that we are going to be there to walk through different seasons of life with them. Predictability helps people to feel safe and feel calm. It eases anxiety, so routines. And as the year goes on, it is going to get busy and hectic, and so start off strong. Create a study time, a place to do that, dinner time, just an expectation for what the day will look like. And we'll get tired and we will steer away from that, but then we can come back to that as well. We want to teach our children to communicate, so set aside that time in the evening to connect. Ask specific questions. What was your favorite thing about today? What is something kind that you did today?
I like that.
And we want to set
not just the how was your day.
Yes, because I'll say good, and you know that's just the go-to answer.
Yes.
So you can do 2 truths and a lie.
Yeah.
Make it fun.
Yeah.
I always like to ask my children, tell me something that somebody did kind for you today, and what did you do kind for other people?
That's good.
The last thing I would say is that we want to teach that we have an emotionally safe environment at home.
Okay.
You can come home and feel those feelings, and you're not going to be judged for that, and we're going to help you walk through whatever challenge that is.
Right, because they do need a safe place to be able to express those feelings, whether they had a bad day and they need to talk about it, and then they're going to be okay, or maybe they had an exciting day and there are some really great things that happened, and they don't want to feel weird about talking to that with their parents as well, because they don't know how their parents are going to accept that. So I think, in both situations, that's important for kids.
It's so important. We have the ability to help our children process different events. And every experience that we have, there's going to be some good things and some bad things. Well, let's say that we go through the podcast today and maybe I say a few smart things. That would be really great. But let's say that I put my foot in my mouth. Well, if I didn't have these skills, what would I focus on?
Yeah.
What would you focus on?
Yeah,
it would wake us up in 2046. And so, we get to sit with our children and help them see the whole picture. And the whole picture is a lot of times they're doing things really well.
Yeah.
And we have to point out those strengths and show them that that's just as important as the time that you make a mistake.
And I think it's really important for us to think about where they are, their age and their development, because as adults, we sometimes in our head, we're expecting them to be further along than where they are, and sometimes they may need to be a little bit they may need to be pushed, and we need to help them with their confidence and knowing that they can do hard things, right? And that's part of being a parent. But also we need to remind parents it's okay. In my opinion, this is what I've seen in the schools. It's okay that your kid's struggling with this. That's normal, and this is you're a safe place for them to come to struggle with that, and you can help them with that, because they have to learn it somewhere, and you want them to learn it from you,
right,
and how to cope than other unhealthy ways or other people.
So that we can have some influence on that. There's so many good things that you just said. One, it is a safe place. 2, it is normal to struggle. We struggle. I don't know about you, I struggle every day. But it is important also for parents to know that your child will not excel at everything.
Right.
We do not excel at everything. They are not going to be perfect, and perfection is an all or nothing mindset. That means that if I make a mistake, I might as well quit. And we don't want to teach children that.
Oh, you've already said a lot of great things, so you're already winning. Okay, so my next question is about protecting family time, and how this season in particular, where you're gearing up with, new dance classes. They just started the new dance season at all the local dance, schools, and then churches may have just started back up with their fall programming, and then you have obviously sports and band and all the school related things that are ramping up. It's always even though it's August, it's not January 1st, it's kind of our second time of the year where people start up again. And so what are some tips that you can give parents about protecting family time? Why is that important? And then maybe avoiding overscheduling. How do you feel about those things?
I feel really strongly about it. I was so excited about this question. Our culture is just very achievement driven, and that means that we are supposed to go. And for some families, they think that if we completely fill the calendar, that we are doing our children a service, and it is a disservice. That is a misconception. We are supposed to have time. We even are supposed to have time to relax, to sleep, to play,
to rest.
Yes. And so what I tell people is look out for signs whenever you are going overboard. And there's a great acronym, HALT. Are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Are you tired? And what that really means is your appetite being affected? Is your mood being affected? Are you withdrawing away from people? And then is your sleep being affected? And if that's happening on either end, it will happen with adults and children, because most likely our schedule is going to mimic their schedule.
Okay, I thought that was great. And you said something that made me think of a conversation I've had recently with a parent, and she said, my kid is so active and he needs to be active all the time. That's why I put him in soccer, and I also have him in baseball right now, and he's in the band because he needs to stay active, because I'm afraid if he's not in those things, he might get in trouble. Which I see where they're coming from there. You want them, they're going to fill their time with something. That's what people think, right? They're going to fill their time with something. We want to make sure they're filling it with things that are positive and helpful and active. But I feel like it's a fine line that you, as a parent, knowing your kid, that's where that comes in, is there's a fine line there. You can overdo it, like
absolutely, absolutely. And it's important that children learn what to do with downtime. It's important for us to learn what to do with downtime. Yeah. And so I think that we do that. I always encourage families to establish their values. Sit down and talk about, what do the hogs believe in? Yeah. What do the ducklers believe in? And in my practice, I ask them to do an exercise. So, pick your top 5 priorities. So let's say that was faith, family, work, health, and socialization. And put those in order. But then I ask them, okay, now put them in order of where you spend your time. I don't know that I've ever had anybody where those lists match.
Right.
And so it's important to create boundaries that are going to preserve those values and family connection and have that downtime, and that's what balance looks like.
Yeah, I like how you gave practical things there, because when we might tell people, hey, it's great to have values, sit down and talk to your values, some people don't even know where to start with that. But doing it the way that you just did, I feel like that's something that's easy to take, digest, and make it their own. And I'll just tell you, for my own family, you're talking about the Hog family, when we were starting out having children, so this is 16 years ago, our church at the time did family covenant or whatever, and we kind of talked about these things. And back then, we had a different schedule than we operate under now. And so we always laugh, because this covenant is great, and it's backed by scriptures, and there's other things in there that we really spent a lot of time being intentional about what was on there. But now it's hard for us to uphold some of those things because of other factors in our lives, now that we have 3 children. And so I think it's also good for us to reevaluate those, because on our family covenant, it says that we are going to have game night once a week. Now, I think pie in the sky, that would be like a great idea. Obviously, game night, family night, connecting, and being intentional with each other is great, but it's not always doable.
Right.
And so it's okay. I think it's okay to tell people it's okay if you had to reevaluate that plan. You should, honestly, because your family's going to go through different seasons.
It's so healthy to be flexible, right? Yeah. So if we said we have to have a game night on Thursday because we created this, however many years ago, you're going to have so much anxiety about having that game night. It'll take the fun away. And then when you don't do it, you're going to feel like, oh my goodness, I failed as a mom today because we did not play Monopoly. And that's just not true.
It's true. It's real. Like, that's real life, how we feel,
Absolutely. So. We're hard on ourselves, and we don't want to teach our children to be hard on themselves. So we teach cognitive flexibility, and that means that there are other outcomes that are still good. Yeah. Maybe it's not the way that you saw it when you were doing that great covenant. It sounds beautiful, but that was before children and a dog and a cat and a job and a meeting and all those things. So we have to evolve.
But also backing it up with conversations with your kids and explaining, hey, we're also humans here, and we're gonna adjust this a little bit because this, right?
Right.
But there are some probably non-negotiable values that you want to, realistic ones though, that you want to protect for your family. I think that's important. All right, so we kind of talked about this a little bit, but what about healthy goals? Like, how important is that when you have a new year and a fresh start?
A fresh start is wonderful. How many times would we like to say, okay, let's have a do-over?
Yeah, a blank slate.
Maybe we did that before this got started. Who knows?
We might have done that a few times.
It's okay. Yeah, it's good. We evolve. We're flexible. And so, no, it's so good. It gives our children the opportunity. We can say, hey, what good things did you do last year that you want to bring forward and develop more? And what do we want to leave behind? What do we never want to do or talk about again? again. I mean, I know there's a lot of things in my life that I'm like, oh, moving on, you know, to bigger and better. And so, you know, we can, grades aren't everything. Grades are important, but in academics, so many times people come to me as college students and say, I never learned to study whenever I was in school. And so I encourage parents and children to use this time to develop their study skills. Find out what kind of learner you are. There's tons of quizzes online.
And so many resources we have available now.
Absolutely.
Even AI can help tailor a study guide to an ADHD learner. I mean, it's amazing.
Right.
Really.
And share resources and, you know, ask the kids about resources. You know, learn to get organized and then ask them what goals they have.
Right.
Socially, you know, it's important, you mentioned this earlier, we have different children and it's okay for them to be different. And so maybe you have a social butterfly. So socially, you say, okay, what's something you could do that's out of the box? And so they try a different club or to attend something different. But then maybe you have the child that is scared to talk and reserved and introverted, and that's okay too. And so maybe you encourage them to make a new friend or to introduce themselves this year, and that's still good.
Order their food at the restaurant.
Hey,
Practical.
Absolutely. And then later say that, you know, celebrate those small successes. And, you know, when you're saying goodnight or whatever at the dinner table the next day, be like, hey, I saw you get that cheeseburger yesterday. That was awesome. So, yeah, that's great. And then we always set goals for kindness. I love that. We as a family have done random acts of kindness, but I always encourage my children to look for that person at school that doesn't have anybody to sit with. Look for somebody that is not smiling and maybe, you know, put a smile on their face that day.
That's good.
You know, so that's important. And then personal goals, what do they want to develop within themselves? Give them buy-in into that.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, well, we're going to do a little quick thing just to kind of, Erica is going to have to be on her toes here because we're going to call this the lightning round.
All right, we'll see.
And just a few quick questions, and I want you to try to give me one-word answers. We'll see how we go. Because maybe I'm wordy, so that's hard. Yeah, it's hard for me.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'll give you a short answer.
Okay, and it may not be the best one, but it's kind of fun to see where you are. So what's one word every child needs to hear from their parents?
Love. And unconditional love. And that means I always tell my children that I love you because you can turn oxygen to carbon dioxide. I love you because you woke up this morning.
Hey, you just had like a science lesson wrapped into it.
Absolutely. And so, you know, for no other reason.
I love that. What's one habit every family should prioritize this school year?
They need to communicate. Communicate creates connections.
Okay. One thing parents worry about too much?
Comparison. You know, comparing themselves to other Pinterest moms, parents, comparing their children to other children, and comparison is the thief of joy. Just don't do it.
Yeah, that's good. I'm loving this. It's fun. One thing you wish every parent would give themselves more grace about?
Some mistakes. We all make them. We're going to continue to make them. And it's a chance to teach your children resiliency again. Hey, I messed up. I wanted to quit, but you know, that's just a feeling. The facts are that I'm dedicated. I'm going to keep going, and for a good reason. Yeah, awesome. All right, so before we close, we always do our when to worry, when to act moment. And this is a time in our podcast where we give parents kind of a practical way to see some red flags. So what are some signs that would tell parents it may be time to seek additional support outside of the parent relationship if they're worried about something their kids or they're just thinking maybe they'll grow out of it, but maybe there's a red flags. What are some red flags that you talked about this earlier, so maybe we could just reiterate this or you can add to it. The HALT, that was great. But what are some more red flags that when you're talking about New Year's and resiliency, those kind of things that you would want parents to know? So first of all, I want to say that things are going to happen, disappointments are going to happen, obstacles are going to happen. Again, that's how we build resilience. And so, you know, we're going to worry. We're going to worry when our kids worry because we feel their feelings. But emotions are normal. Setbacks are normal. When it doesn't become normal is when it persists and there's a pattern of behavior. When we have an extreme reaction that is not balanced with the situation. Whenever it's prolonged. So extreme anxiety, extreme emotions, somatic issues, headaches, nausea, negative internal dialogue, if a child is hanging onto the car, not wanting to get out at soccer practice, things like that, it's time to ask a professional. And the good thing is that professionals are able to step back and see things very logically, where we have a lot of emotion invested. I think it's very important to say that asking for a professional's help does not mean that you failed as a parent, and it does not mean that something is wrong with your kid. We just need more tools, and people like me, we love to help you have those. I can't leave here without saying that if your child makes an outcry, if they talk about harming themselves or somebody else, you get help every single time. Yes. And, you know, like I said, getting help just is another support that you can have to, you know, help your children grow and to become more resilient.
Right. And we have some resources here at the school, but there's also a lot of excellent resources outside the school. So if you don't know where to start, if it's something that's not an emergency right then, obviously if it's an emergency, you know, there are helplines, and you can contact, you know, medical professionals. But at the school, starting with your school counselor, and they have resources if it's beyond them, communicating that to the student, and then getting resources for them outside of school is something that I know our counselors are equipped at doing as well. So if that's kind of where you want to start, then that's great. I think what you said was great. All right, well, Dr. Duckworth, thank you for joining me today. You are really a ray of sunshine, and I know a lot of people in our community just love you and value you, and it's easy to see why. And in just the short time I've been here today, I've already learned a lot as a parent and as an educator. So I just want to thank you so much for investing in this time together, giving your time and helping our parents and our raters be the best they can be.
Well, and I just wanted to thank you real quick too, because I was here for 10 years. I loved it. It was such an honor to be, you know, just.
And you worked in the district.
I did, to be back in my old stomping grounds. I firmly believe in the power of education, and when we have a little bit more knowledge, it helps us to be better, and when we're better, we can help our children to be better. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, I think she said it best. When we can team up together and share that knowledge, and it's all about helping our kids be the best raters that they can be. We're better together. So thanks for joining us today. We hope that you have a great start to this school year. Reach out if you need anything. Thank you. Bye.